Hello guys, welcome to Expertise Academy. Today we're gonna see Microsoft Project, and this is an introduction to Microsoft Project. So there will be few more videos that will be coming just throughout this playlist series. So today quickly just let's run through Microsoft Project and some of the basic concepts, and so why we're still looking at Microsoft Project desktop application in 2019 when we have so many cloud applications such as Rike, Task, and plenty of other SaaS project management applications. So let's go through some of those points, and then if you have any questions, just put it onto the comment section. I'll also add exercise file. So whenever you have some questions and things like that, just ask us. All right, so let's get going. So today we're going to look at Microsoft Project 2013. So there is also 10 version available. So you can get the cloud version from Microsoft Office 360 account. And so if you look at the desktop and the cloud, there is not much of a difference. But I tend to prefer the desktop version for some of the heavy lifting. It's just because I don't have to rely on internet speed for my data to be more real time and things like that. So with most of these projects that we work, it's managed by a single project manager, so there is no need for a collaboration for these kind of projects. And so yeah, so now some of the things that we want to quickly run through some of the terminologies and concepts. So first thing is so what is project and what is a project management? A project is something where you got a specific set of objectives, your scope of works, and you got a limited amount of time and limited amount of resources and cost, pretty much your manpower, your materials, as well as your human resources to deliver a particular set of works. So that is called a project. So how are you going to deliver that is your project management. So combining all this together, so make sure that you are delivering it efficiently, make sure you're delivering it on time and with the precise quality as what you expected. So that is what project management is. So now three things we're going to do. So one is time, cost, and scope of works. So there are certain things Microsoft Projects lets you do what certain things it doesn't do. It's not designed to do those kind of things, but I will show you some of the tricks to manage those things. All right, so now what is a typical project management life cycle? So if you look at it, this is one of the key things that we need to get through. So typically a project management life cycles is actually a 4-stage process. So first, so we're going to look at the definition stage, which is where you talk to your client, you define your scope of works. So this is exactly what you're going to deliver, some of the approximate durations and what sort of people who's going to work on and who's going to take what sort of responsibility and those kind of stuff that goes into the definition. And then you're planning. So there is actually two types of these curves, the level of effort. If you see the level of effort, when we say the execution is higher, that's when the actual people who's like engineers and technicians who work, that's where they do most of the heavy lifting during the execution phase. Whereas as a project manager, your curve is going to be different. So technically your curve will be like that. And probably you might do some more work towards the delivery portion of it, but most cases if you see it's like you will do a lot of work during the defining stage because only you might be involving it, and then some of the technical guys might be involved to help you put together some scope of works. And then the planning is where you do plenty of work, you're still doing lots of work, and then at the time of you finishing planning and moving out execution, so you as a project manager, if you have done the first two phases efficiently, the third phase you don't really have to work as high as these guys. So that is the main thing. So you have to work much lesser than the other guys because they're doing the heavy lifting. They pretty much, if it's an civil engineering project, they're doing the construction. If it's a software, they're building the code. So you basically managing it to make sure that they are delivering it on time as per the quality that is needed and things like that. So you pretty much managing it and checking everything is done on time and things like that. So this is where you do less work here, and then once you finish it, when you're doing the deliveries, this is where you go to your client and then you confirm things, and then pretty much close the project. So this is a sort of typical thing. But most cases what happens is, if you don't have a proper plan, or if you have not discussed every little detail at this stage, if you're a new project manager, your experience might also contribute to that factor. And then the planning, if you don't have time, or if you're not actually spending a lot of time on planning, then if that curve dips here, then you will do a lot of work here, because you're trying to do a lot of meetings with the client, trying to mitigate a lot of problems, and trying to do more work, probably doing some of the technical works as yourself as well. And that's when you burn yourself a lot. And the same time goes for the delivery as well. You pretty much spend lots and lots of hours getting things closed, and on top there will be scope creeps as well. So if you actually spend less and less time here, so there will be more execution that happens on top of it. Pretty much you wouldn't even reach the delivery stage. So this is one of the major problems with some of the project managers who spend very less time here and here. Pretty much, then you have to handle the scope creeps. Okay, so now typical stages. First stage, pretty much you're defining your scope. Second stage, you're planning, where you have your schedules, your budget, your resources, who's going to work, your risk, your staffing, and all those items. And then execution, staff reports, you're managing all the reports. Changes, if there is any changes comes in, how are you going to accommodate those little changes in without affecting the existing deliveries. And then quality of work, and that's your typical quality QA checks and things like that. And forecast, if there is going to be changes, if it's going to be some issues running through some of the task due to rain or weather or some of the other technical difficulties, so you have to forecast those ones as well. And then finally, delivery part, train the customer, give a proper knowledge transfer to the customer, do documentations. And the documentation process, I would suggest you pretty much you start doing something up here, so you don't really end up doing a lot of work on documentation side. So documentation has to be here. And then release resources, pretty much you assigning staffs to another project and reassigning staffs, and then the lesson learned. So this is also another important thing we will see at one of the later chapters, because what happens is when we deliver some projects, it happens over a period of months, and then there is lots and lots of little things that we will learn at different phases of the project, and we tend to forget that, or we tend to fail to learn it. And that is what actually makes you a better project manager over a period of time. So how do we record those ones, so that when you go and visit your project plan right after you finish it, it is a learning experience. If you just quickly run through the project plan, you will start visualizing what has happened over a period of time, where we failed, where we have to improve, and a lot of those things. All right, so this is basically the project lifecycle. And so next, some of the areas that we're going to work is project management knowledge areas. Typical project management knowledge areas consist of your integration management, your scope management, time, cost, quality, human resource, communications, risk, and procurement. So these are the little titles under those managements. If you are a PMP professional, so you might already be gone through a lot of these ones. For learning a Microsoft project, it is essential that you understand some of these concepts as well. My suggestion would be is download some of the project management books, PM book, and then go through some of the basic concepts and terminologies, because we'll be using quite a lot in Microsoft project. So Microsoft project is a very, very traditional application where it actually runs from top to down approach. So it's actually best to actually go along with the flow to understanding these ones. All right, so next one is so introduction to Microsoft Project 2013. So the list of things that we're going to quickly see in this video is, I'm going to keep it very small so that it's just an introduction. So we will see some of the basics in the user interface, and then I'll quickly run through some of the tools that we will use it, and then we'll wrap up the lesson, and then later we'll take into another lesson. All right. So first thing is your interface. So the interface is similar to your Excel. If you've been using Excel, this is very, very similar to that. So you go to your typical file menu, and then so in the file menu you got your manage accounts, your backstage, and then you get to open new file, open file, save as, print, share, and export and a lot of these options. So one of the other things is typically you do is your options, so where you can get to configure some of the default values, and which will help you save a lot of time, so you don't have to do it every time you open a new project or work on an existing project and things like that. So we will see those ones as well. So next one is your quick access toolbar. So the terminology is important, guys, because what the terminologies I'm saying about the user interface is common across literally all the applications. If you open AutoCAD or if you open any other Windows based applications, these terminologies is common. So the one on top left corner is called a quick access toolbar. So this is something like after we get to the new set of interface, which is the ribbon interface. This is the interface that you see in Microsoft Project as well as in AutoCAD, and a lot of these applications is like you got tabs and then tools grouped under the tabs. So after we got these interface, we're not going to see all the tools in all the screens. So what we do is, let's say if you got some reports and things like that, if you want to access this one quite often, and then most of the time you'll be working on the task tab, you can right click on this one and add this one to the quick access toolbar, so it is available to you at all times, so that even if you're working on this one, you can see this tool here and you can just directly go to the tool. All right, so now so some of the tabs, task tab, this is where you do a lot of work. You create your task, you change between different views, and you mark your task as complete, and check the progress, and scroll to task. A lot of these tools you use it quite often. So this is the tab you spend literally 90% of your time. So resources, so this is the tab where you actually see a list of all your resources, assigned resources, unassigned resources, and how do you assign them, how do you level them. A lot of these things comes under the resource tab. And then the reports, so they come with a whole bunch of pre-built reports, and you can also build your own custom reports as well. So this comes in one of the advanced chapters. I'll show you how to do some custom reports. You can also do some macros and some of those scriptings and adding plugins and things like that. And project, so this you come here probably once in a day or something, and then update certain things. And this is the overall configurations that you update, like the WBS codes and changing work timings. This is all the things that you set up before you start with the Microsoft project. And then views. As a Microsoft project manager, entering information is very easy. Getting information out of that is where your skill set is. So that means when someone comes and asks you, okay, could you give me how many hours John's working on this particular 2 projects for the next 3 weeks, if there is some queries like that, and you should be able to get that information and then give it to people. So how sooner you get is your skill set. So the views is the one which is going to help you do that. So reports and views, you have to be really super strong on this one. And then you got teams, so it's pretty much giving access to people, and then they can view the project and things like that. Formatting, if you have used Word, Excel, simple, easy to use, so nothing too complex on the space. And then there is always help and things like that as well. So any tool that you go through, so if you need to have some help on these ones, so you can go to the help icon, which is right up here, and then you can search about the tool and you get some details right here. And then so we got the timeline. So this is the timeline bar. This gives you from the start till the end what is happening on your project. And then your Gantt chart. So this is your default view in Microsoft Project, and this is the view you work most of the time. So this gives you a visual representation on the right side, and then the task list down on the left side. And then there is also split views, we'll see that. And then in the status bar, you got some tools here. You can switch between task usage and resource assignments and team planners, and a lot of these different views that you can switch between. And you can zoom in, zoom out the Gantt charts as well. And you can customize a Gantt chart time tiers here, and you can also adjust the time scales, and a lot of these things you can adjust it here. Alright, so this is just an introduction, guys, and thank you for watching, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any specific questions, just put it onto the comment section. I'm happy to answer those ones. Thank you so much.